Welcome to another episode of Potion Sword Run. This is the original Seed, coming to you live from my living room. And it's just been announced by Bethesda that they will be working on an Indiana Jones game. Yes, that Bethesda, the one that is soon to be owned by Microsoft. So one can assume that Indiana Jones will be exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem. Now we don't know that for sure, but come on. Before I get into my speculation, I'm gonna rewind the tape just a little. LucasFilms announced that LucasFilms Games is back in the action. And I quote, "And with LucasFilms and the galaxy far, far away entering a new, unprecedented phase of creativity, so will the world of LucasFilms Games, developed in collaboration with the finest studios across the industry." Which pretty much means, in my interpretation, that EA will not be renewing their contract with Disney for Star Wars when it comes up in 2023. Indiana Jones going to Bethesda is a clear example of that happening. Now, before you guys say, "No, EA will never part with the Star Wars franchise," about a year ago, an executive from EA said that he didn't quite understand why they were investing so much money in franchises that didn't belong to them. And it makes sense, and that is probably why the last few Star Wars games were single player only. Seeing that their contract was going to be up in a few years, why would they keep investing in live service games that don't belong to them? That's telling me that they're okay walking away from Star Wars. And Disney obviously is too. And that is why they announced the rebirth of Lucasfilms Games. So although today Bethesda announces they'll be making Indiana Jones, I expect different studios announcing different projects from this moment on. Now, with the announcement of Indiana Jones being made by Bethesda, one can clearly assume that it's gonna be exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem, like I said before. And because of it, the Sony fanboys go wild on the Twitster. A perfect example comes from Hardcore Metal 89, who won't let the Xbox community be excited about news. All of a sudden, he starts laughing at Indiana Jones fans, talking about how they're frauds and they never talked about Indiana Jones before. And moments later, he admits that he never watched the movies before, which shows that these PlayStation fanboys are just talking out of their ass. When I went to go see what else he's been talking about, it turned out it was a profile I blocked. And truth be told, I only do that to unsavory individuals. So his opinion doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is the games, and that is Indiana Jones, that is going to be produced by Todd Howard, made by Machine Games, the people who brought you Wolfenstein. The game itself is going to be an original story, so it won't be based on any of the movies or any of the games that came before it. So before people start saying that this is going to be an Uncharted clone and how Xbox is only copying Uncharted's success and they want to be like Sony, no, this game has been made for many systems before this announcement. The first time I played it was on the Sega Master System, and even before these games there was Pitfall, if you really want to go back to the simpler times. But even when we talk about Uncharted, we must talk about the game that came before that, which was Tomb Raider, which at the time revolutionized action-adventure games. So when you hear these fanboys talk nonsense about how it's gonna be an inferior Uncharted, pay them no mind. They're just butthurt because the narrative that Xbox has no games cannot be used anymore. And the new narrative is gonna be, Xbox, please stop making exclusive games. Now, before anybody gets too excited, other than the announcement trailer, we have no other information on the game, except that it's only beginning. So don't expect this title until maybe about, I say 3 years from now at least. But with that being said, it's still good to know that Xbox will have games throughout its entire lifespan. I can't wait to see what else Lucasfilms Games announces. That's gonna do it for this episode. Remember, when shit's the fan, and you hear those fanboys talking crap about video game franchises on a movie that they never even watched, run.